Are you working for your business or is your business working for you? If stepping away from work sounds like a fantasy, it's time to flip that script. Today, I'm sharing how to build a business that runs without you, even when you're on vacation. Welcome to Small Business Big Visibility, the podcast empowering you, adventurous small business owners, to attract your ideal customers and boost your revenue. I'm your host, Jason McKenzie. Each week, we'll explore easy to implement tools and strategies to take your business to new heights and build the lifestyle you want. If you're ready for more profits and less stress, let's get started. All week, we've been talking about work priorities. We started with why priorities matter more than you may think. Then we uncovered the hidden cost of poor prioritization, like missed revenue, burnout, and stagnation. Yesterday, I shared 4 specific prioritization techniques, including the Priorities Power Plan, which helps you narrow down your daily focus into the 5 most important tasks. If you've been following along, you know the big lesson. If you don't control your priorities, your business will control you. And today, we're taking that concept to the next level. It's one thing to prioritize your day. It's another to build a business that doesn't require you be on all the time. Today, I'll share how I went from being the bottleneck in my business to creating a business that could run without me. If you want more freedom, this episode is for you. When I started my business, I had this dream that one day I'd have freedom. I'd be able to take vacations, spend time with my family, and focus on big picture goals. But in reality, I created a business that needed me more than ever. Have you ever felt that way? You start with this big dream of freedom, more time, more choice, more control, but somehow you end up more trapped than before. At first, you might not even realize it. I sure didn't. You tell yourself, this is just how business works. You figure it out if you work hard enough, long enough, you'll eventually earn that freedom. But what actually happens? You start building something that can't function without you. Every email, every client call, every decision has to go through you. Suddenly, you're no longer the CEO, you're the janitor, customer service rep, and the IT person all rolled into one. Does that sound familiar? It might not hit you right away, but then one day you see someone else doing it differently. Maybe it's a friend, a peer, or another business owner you admire. You watch them walk away, literally step away from their business, and everything keeps running. Their clients are happy, their team knows exactly what to do, and they're not glued to their phone like you are. That's when it hits. It doesn't have to be this way. In that moment, you realize something important. You built yourself a cage, and you're the one holding those keys. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that being essential to your business is a sign of success. But here's the truth I had to learn. A business that relies on me for everything isn't a business, it's a job. Now, would you work for a boss who never gave you a break, expected you to be available nights, weekends, and holidays, and didn't allow you to fully unplug? Probably not. But that's often how so many small business owners end up treating themselves when they're stuck in this cycle. The real problem isn't your clients, not the industry, not even the economy. The problem is the way the business was built. If everything depends on you, every process, system, client question, then you've made yourself the single point of failure. If you don't show up, nothing moves forward. Now, here's the good news. You can change it. The shift begins when you stop being the worker and start being the architect. Instead of doing the work, you design how the work gets done. Now, it's not about handing off everything at once or stepping away overnight. It's about slowly creating systems and processes, and most importantly, trust. Trust in your team, trust in your systems, trust in yourself that things do not need to be perfect before you let them go. And here's something you should hear right now. This shift will not happen overnight. Moving from doing work to designing the work takes time. It's gradual. You won't wake up one day with a business that runs itself. It happens one system at a time, one task at a time, one week at a time. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first. You'll probably feel like you're giving up control. But every small improvement you make, every email template, every repeatable process, every task you delegate moves you closer to that freedom you've imagined when you first started. So ask yourself, what's one thing you could remove yourself from this week? Don't make it huge. Small wins stack up. Every small step you take will bring you closer to the business you've actually dreamed of building, the one that gives you that freedom instead of taking it away. So here's the point. If your business can't run without you, then you're working for your business, not the other way around. So how do you flip the script? How do you build the business that doesn't rely on you for every decision, call, and task? Here's 3 key steps that made the biggest difference for me. Step 1 is creating repeatable systems. And I started small. Ask yourself, what are the repeatable tasks I do every day, every week, every month? Make a list of these and document the steps you take for each one. This doesn't have to be perfect, just clear enough for someone else to follow. Once you have these systems written out, they become something you can hand off to someone else. The more tasks you document, the more control you gain. All right, step number 2 is delegate like a boss. Delegation takes time. You won't hand off everything on day 1, but you can hand off something on day 1. You don't have to hire a full-time team member. Start with freelancers or even part-time help. The key is to start small and build from there. You're not going to flip that switch and suddenly offload 50% of your workload. Instead, start with a single task, like managing your inbox, and work your way up from that. All right, step 3 is build self-sustaining systems. This is where it all comes together. A self-sustaining system runs even when you're not there, and here's how to build one. You're going to automate what you can, so email autoresponders, calendar bookings, payment systems, etc. Document how decisions are made so your team can make them without you, and then empower your team with the tools, knowledge, and authority to act without needing you for every small decision. Now, again, this won't happen in a week. It's a process of improvement. But with every system you create, you're one step closer to freedom. Now, some people might be thinking, I don't have time to create all these systems. And the reality is, you might not have time to not create all these systems. You won't build a self-sustaining business in a day, but you can start building it, and in 90 days, you'll be a long way down the road. You can do this one process at a time. Start with one, write down a simple checklist for your most repetitive task, and that's it. That's progress. This is not an all or nothing transformation. It's a very gradual shift. Remember that every small change does add up. All right, so I invite you to pick one task you do repeatedly and write down the steps today. This will be the start of your first system. Until next time, prioritize with purpose, build your process, and watch your business thrive.